get it? Do you have something there?
Talk to me again.
Do you have something there? Have something there?
Now I do. Now you're on the lab.
This is a lav, yeah.
Yeah. Before, did you switch something?
I just turned the lav on.
I turned it off.
Okay. Yeah, now I have something.
So you turned it off?
Yeah, it was off, so I turned it on, spoke into it, and then when we were done, I turned it off.
Okay. So you got it now?
Handheld off?
The handheld is off.
Okay, that's good. We're good.
I'm going to turn it off. So.
Yeah.
I'll take another picture. All right, everybody watching, we're going to get started here in about, let's see, about 9 minutes, so hang tight. We'll be right with you.
Hang on. I got it. It's going.
Hold, stand by. Don't do anything. You hearing anything? All right, push it out. Yeah. What are you hearing? What do you hear? Hear me? Okay, so turn that off. That's, I'm ready. We good on mic? You tell me. It's yellow on the other one. You got me? All right. Welcome, everybody. We are here at Shutterfest, and wish you guys could join us if you're not here. And if you are here at the hotel, come on down, join us here live. But right now, we are testing the brand new Panasonic S1r full frame camera. So it's very exciting, 47.3 megapixel full frame, and this thing is beautiful. So let me talk through it a little bit with you. The first time I got my hands on it was in California last week. Went on a live photo shoot with it, and we're going to show you that video, the behind the scenes, and talk through my first impressions. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back here, and we've set up a little set. We've got some Westcott lighting, and we're going to do a photo shoot here, and we'll take some live Q&A if you have questions. But first impressions, I think no matter what you've been using or used to, you're going to love the way this feels in your hands. Of course, right now I've got it tethered and a whole bunch of other accessories on it. But you'll see in the video, the thing I love about this camera, of course, great images. We all want great images. But one of the things I love absolutely is the ergonomics of it. I think they hit a home run. There's a lot of mirrorless cameras out there. In my opinion, I got big hands, and they all feel like little toys in my hand. And so with or without the battery grip, it feels comfortable. I think they spent a lot of time. I don't have inside knowledge, but just looking at it and having it in my hands, I think they spent a lot of time on the ergonomics. And then, of course, the menuing system. I don't know about you guys, but something that will make me batshit crazy is a menuing system where I've got to dig into submenus, and a cousin of the main menu. I don't want to do that. I just want to be able to find what I need quickly and easily, right? We're photographers, we're working, we're active. I don't have time to dig through them. So menuing system, very easy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to queue up this video. We'll come back from it, and we'll start a photo shoot. And let me set this up. This is a video from California, live shoot with a model, various lighting conditions. We were using a reflector. We were using just backlight, kind of blowing out the background. And the images aren't edited, right? So they're color corrected, but there's not huge amount of post-production. So you're seeing damn near straight out of camera of these 47 megapixel images. So enjoy. Hey everybody, I'm Sal Takata, and we are here today checking out the brand new Panasonic S1r. I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, right? So we're going to do a photo shoot here today and actually use the camera. Tech specs all online. As you know, I don't need to regurgitate tech specs to you. I want to know how this thing is going to perform. Nice about this, you don't have to take off this piece here. Like a lot of cameras that have a battery grip, you got to remove the kind of latch. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And so they've done really good here. This comes on, and what I will tell you while I'm screwing this on is that with the battery grip, I actually am obsessed with this camera right now. So it feels like a DSLR. So just keep that in mind. Like if you like feeling something in your hand. Hey everybody, I'm Sal Takata, and we are here today checking out the brand new Panasonic S1r. I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, right? So we're going to do a photo shoot here today and actually use the camera. Tech specs all online. As you know, I don't need to regurgitate tech specs to you. I want to know how this thing is going to perform in the field. And I do want to show you a little something here. So I've got pretty big hands, and so they've got the battery grip here. So the camera without the battery grip, right? So the mirrorless cameras, my opinion, they're getting smaller and smaller, thinner and thinner, and I honestly feel like they feel like garbage in your hands. I got big hands, and so I will tell you that without the battery grip, it's not too bad. I do like it. Without the battery grip, I don't love it, right? So that's the difference. And so what I do want to show you is once we put the battery grip on, what's really nice about this is we don't have to take off this piece here. Like a lot of cameras that have a battery grip, you got to remove the kind of latch. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And so they've done really good here. This comes on. And what I will tell you while I'm screwing this on is that with the battery grip, I actually am obsessed with this camera right now. So it feels like a DSLR. So just keep that in mind. Like if you like feeling something in your hand and knowing you have control over it. Ergonomically, I got to give hats off to Panasonic here. They have done an incredible job ergonomically. Something else worth noting, it's a little thing. Usually in the battery grips, they take 2 batteries. This actually just takes 1. And so in this moment, this is the first time I'm using the camera. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing for our wallet because I don't have to now jam 2 batteries in here. But is it going to impact battery life? I'd like to say yes, it's probably not going to last as long. But if I can get through an entire job with only switching batteries once, it doesn't really bother me. I like it because it keeps the weight out, and it also saves my wallet. So it just feels good, and you will see this. I can't emphasize it enough because before I ever turn the camera on, I put it in my hands. I'm like, I like it. I dig it. All right, so a couple other things with the camera, right? 47 megapixel. It's got 4K 60p video. It's got image stabilization built in, and this is huge. Don't underestimate having that built in. They claim 5.5 stops of shake that it will absorb with their image stabilization. So I do want to test it and see if we can pull that off. They've got 6K video in here where you can pull out a frame and get an 18 megapixel still image. So we're going to put that to the test as well. And other than that, let's use this on a shoot. Let's take some frames. Let's see what the results look like, right? You've got the auto focusing, the tracking that's built in. I think over the years, Panasonic, Sony, right, Canon, Nikon, all these companies are chasing this focus, this tracking, right? And the easier they make it for us to get sharper images, the more we love their cameras. And so it looks so far like they've done an incredible job with tracking. We'll see. We'll put a little bit of it to the test. But other than that, I won't stop talking about it. Let's use it on an actual shoot. All right, so first up, I've got Diana with me. Beautiful red dress. Really a simple scene, right? We've got it backlit, and I want to get a nice headshot of her. So right now, what I do have is a 50 millimeter lens. You can use your 50, use your 85. You don't want to go much wider, you'll skew it. But what I do like about this particular lens is it's Lumix S Pro 50 millimeter 1.4. So we're going to get that really shallow depth of field with it, which is what I want for this. I'm also going to use a reflector because I want to push some fill light in there, or I can just expose for her face and then blow the background out. Not really my style, but we'll try both, see what it looks like. So we'll go with and without the reflector. You guys can decide which one looks better. But again, here from a settings perspective, I'm an ISO 100 f1.4. So let's get to it. Sabrina, would you give me a hand here? Put that bag down. Yeah, I want to stop for a second. So this is showing you, this is really the first time I'm using it. Just to give you perspective, when I was going vertical, horizontal, in the horizontal position, the joystick's here to move your focus point. And when I went vertical with it, I'm like struggling to keep touching this. It doesn't make any sense. And of course, dumb user, there's a joystick here for the vertical position. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. All right, so Diana rocked out the first scene. I love what I'm seeing. I shot everything wide open at 1.4. I got super close with the 50 millimeter, which is not something I would normally do, but I really do like the final setup. And we brought the reflector in and just had some really harsh light on her. And you're seeing we didn't need flash, strobe, any of that other complicated equipment. Natural light, backlit her, and pushed it into her. Now I want to get a wider shot. I think we have a 24-105, and so we're going to use that. It's a 24-105, 4 millimeter. Sorry, F4. I just made something up like that. 4 millimeter. Yeah, two same words and numbers. F4 that we're going to use here on the path so that I can get a little bit more compression in the background and move right that as needed to go between that 24 wide shot, 7 millimeter, get a little bit tighter. I don't know what my problem is today. It's on 2470 to 24-105. All right, let's move to that scene. Can you touch her up? All right, so here we are. We're right. I got this path here. I'm going to start at 24 millimeter. Use go to 105. It's an F4 lens. All right, you're going to be up, girl. We live? You're hearing me? All right, everybody, sorry about that. We're having technical difficulties. What would you expect? Live broadcast. What we will do is when this is over, I'll post that video for you. Sorry, it was like jumping around and some clarity issues, but trust me, the audio's there. So we'll post it. What you were seeing in that, if I can walk you through it, a couple of things, and I'll try and recreate it here. When the camera was put in my hand, I didn't get a whole bunch of instruction on how to use it. I didn't get a whole bunch of details. We good? Ladies? Okay, we're going to have to deal with it. We didn't get a whole bunch of manuals with it and details. We just got in our hand and we're quickly and easily able to start working with the camera. So I think that's important to understand, and that's what I'm talking about in that video, is how quickly I was able to figure it out. We started with a 50 millimeter 1.4 on that, and in that 50 millimeter 1.4, images were sharp, even at 1.4. That's very, very important. But something else about the camera, take the 6K off the table. Something else about the camera is it's got image stabilization built in. This is a huge, huge feature. If you're working in any kind of environment where you've got, whether it's low light, whether you're a PJ shooter, a street shooter, these are features you want, right? You want that image stabilization. Of course, we all want some kind of blur if that's what we're trying to create, but the blur shouldn't come from us, right? As humans, we're bouncing back and forth, we're breathing. These are things that start introducing that shake. That's where it can help you. And so in the video, and I'll try and do the same thing here, we took a portrait at 1/10 of a second, and that portrait was usable. It was a little soft, but I got news for you. I'll challenge anybody at 1/10 of a second handheld to get a portrait that's like that. And that's not only me, that's the camera, that's the equipment helping me be a better photographer. And I think ultimately that's what it's all about. The equipment should help us do our jobs, not hinder us from doing it. So with that being said, I've got the beautiful Corinne here, and we're going to start shooting here a little bit. And so what I've got on the camera now is a 7200. We've got a Westcott Solix light. I'm setting up for clamshell lighting on this. And who's the background by? And so we've got it's very beautiful Intuition background in the back for us. So Corinne, looking awesome. Do me a favor, just sweep your hair just gently there. Love it. And let's see here. Straighten that out a little bit. Good. And we'll just start as a nice portrait. I got a 7200 here. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting that focus point right on her eye. And they've got multiple focus points, focus options, right? So they've got tracking. They've got all sorts of things that we would expect. And they've got a joystick that makes it very easy to move that focus point. I don't like zone focusing, right? So if you're a street shooter or something like that, that's fine. That's your thing. Just grab whatever's in frame. I want to move my focus point right to my subject's eye. That's my ultimate goal. This way I know it's tack sharp. And that's where the joystick in the back comes into play. So we've got one joystick here. So as I'm working, it's very ergonomic. And if I go vertical, the other one is right here at my thumb, making it, again, very ergonomic. So I'm going to move that focus point right to her eye. So let's go here. Beautiful. 1, 2. Chin down just a dinch. 1, 2. And I'm at 4/0200 of a second. And let's cut to this. And so this is going to end up coming up here. And you'll see that image. And it's going to pop up for us. And so that is just a stunning image straight out of camera. I love the 200. You're seeing some of the compression and fall off in the background. Of course, that's happening because of the way we're lighting her as well, right? We're using clamshell lighting. If we had more lighting in here, we could put a hair light behind her. But we're just working with 2 lights right here. And eventually I'm going to take us down to 1 light. And so what we're doing here is I love what it's doing to her eyes. Her eyes are just popping and are stunning in the frame. And so that becomes part of the look you should be going for, right? So again, I'm at F4 on this, and I was at about 135. So let's go to like 70. Let's go a little bit wider here. So I'll pull back. And what I'm doing, I know it's going to be hard to see, is this camera is not coming off my face. So I'm looking at my subject through the camera, and with the joystick, I'm just moving it so that I can put that focus point right to her eye. Again, I think that's very important when you're working. I watch photographers all the time chimp, right? They're just down here in their camera, and you're missing all that action that's right in front of you. And so for me, I like having that camera right at my face, and I don't have to take it down. Everything's happening here. I'm zooming in, I'm zooming out, and I'm moving my joystick so that it's right over her eye, right? Pop. And now I'm seeing that shot. It's going to pop up here on the screen again, and I'm seeing that shot, and it's going to be tack sharp because the focus point is on her face. So again, we'll pop that next shot. That is just stunning, okay, of her. And so these are the kind of things the camera, can we bring back this camera? I can't say this with any more emphasis. The camera is a tool, and as a tool, it should help us do our jobs. That's what matters. Of course, we want good images when it's all said and done, right? So I've got a 47 megapixel raw file here. There's a lot of data to work with on this file, right? We're going to be able to edit this. You're seeing the raw file, but this camera should help me be a better photographer. This tool, this hammer, this screwdriver should help me be a better photographer. I want sharp images. That's important, right? Things like that. So let's put that to the test. Let's adjust our settings. So I'm going to bring up the settings here. Let's see. We can, sorry guys, I'm changing this. We are gonna do file name, exposure, yeah, there we go, sorry. All right, so we're seeing that image was shot at 4.0, ISO 1600, 1/25th of a second. So what I wanna do now is I'm gonna hold this same thing, okay, and I'm going to go to 5/6, an 80th of a second. Let's see what we got. 1, 2. Hopefully we got good technique. Let's see. If I screwed it up, we won't show it. We'll take another picture. Look at that, guys. 80th of a second, 5/6. Okay, that's that image stabilization kicking in. Granted, I'm not shooting a moving subject. We know that, right? But I'm working on portraits. This could be at a wedding. Look at that. 1/25th of a second, F4. Look at that detail. That is incredible. How about them lashes, though? All right, so let's try. Let's see if we can have that again. So let's go to 8.0. Okay, so now I'm at 8.0, a 40th of a second. I think I even popped that off at a 30th. This is at a 30th. Guys, that's pretty dang good at a 30th of a second handheld. And I'm not holding a light lens on this, right? I'm holding a 7200 with a tripod mount and right, and a cord tied to it at a 30th of a second. I'll take that any day of the week. Let's push it. Canon's in the, Panasonic's in the room, and they're like, don't push it. All right, let's push it. Let's go to, that was a 30th of a second. Shit, all right, pressure's on. Let's go to F11. See if we can pull this off. I'm at a 15th of a second. Fingers crossed. What? So here's the deal, right? That's the image stabilization built in. That's the camera and lens working on my behalf. I will take that. Should you shoot your portraits at a 15th of a second? Of course not. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. But now, if there is a reason, and I don't want to introduce more noise, think about this for a second. Granted, we're in an indoor situation, and I've got, I'm at ISO 1600, I think. I can push the ISO. I can go to ISO 3200, 6400. That's going to keep giving me stops. But what am I introducing in that? I'm introducing noise, right? So what you should be taking away from this is not Sal's crazy. I'm never going to shoot a portrait at 1/10 of a second. But what you should be taking away is how impressive this is on a long lens, no less. This is a 7200 that's on this camera, and that's a pretty damn good shot. So with that, let's keep shooting. Let's have some fun, shall we? Questions here? Is that making sense? Is that impressing you? Okay. So, we're ready to have some fun? Let me get out of this so I can stop shooting at 1/10 of a second. Not my favorite thing to do. Okay, here we go. Let's have some fun with it. I'm just going to shoot through it. 1, 2. 1, 2. Love it. Ooh, I love that. Stay there. So here's how I'm going to shoot that. I love where she's at. Moving my focus point to her eye. Taking that shot. Stay there. And then I really want to zoom in. Look at this composition on it. 1, 2. I really love these two shots. Let them come through. That is stunning. And then this next one, I zoomed in to 200. Right? That is just stunning what we're getting. And you might be looking at that thinking, why is he cropping so tight? I like tight crops when it comes to portraits. You'll figure out your own style, what you like. But the point is, the camera is absolutely performing the way we want. And that's at a 7200. So, you know, what if we want to go with a 50 millimeter 1.4? So can somebody hand me that 50 millimeter? Let's change that. And lighting, you know, I don't know if you have questions about lighting or anybody in here does. Questions about lighting? What do you got? We're good. All right. So when it comes to lighting, I love clamshell lighting for beauty portraits. I just like the way it all works. So let's switch this. Keep that there. Never know when I'll come back to it. All right. So now I'm going to put on the 50 millimeter 1.4. And I'm going to shoot at 1.4. Right, and so something about this lens, it's a 1.4. You've got the ability to control aperture on the lens, if that's your thing, or you can just go to auto or A, and you'll switch it over to the camera controlling it for you. I like leaving it on the camera because remember, I don't like pulling it away from my face. I just know I do everything with my right hand, and so I tend to work that way. So I'm going to get in much closer here to her. And I like the shallow depth of field. So here we go, 1, 2. See that come up. So again, real shallow depth of field that you're going to get on this. Right, and so if we zoom in, now I will tell you, right, I like the way that looks. What happens at 1.4, so this is a 1-to-1 zoom. Right? If we go to, if we're looking at this, what starts happening at 1.4 is there's massive fall off, right? 1.4, the depth of field is not even as wide as your pinky. And so what ends up happening at 1.4 is there's going to be this fall off. And what does it do? On a beauty portrait, the skin gets soft. The wrinkles get softer. So my favorite kind of lens is an 85 millimeter, really shallow depth of field for a portrait. So that I can control that, the way that skin's looking, and without having to add all this Photoshop to it, because I laugh. A lot of times people will look at my images and they'll think, oh, the skin's over softened. Actually, there's been no softening. It's makeup and it's shooting at 1.2, and then depending on how the face is structured, there's going to be fall off in that, right? So that, I like shooting wide open. But here's the, you know, no risk, no reward. Here's what will end up happening. When you are shooting at a shallow depth of field, what ends up happening is out of every 10 frames, I'm telling you, you're going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 that are soft. So what I tend to do is when I'm working and I know I have to get a shot, I'm at 2.8. I'll get all my shots, and then I'll slow down, and then I'll shoot 5, 6, 7 frames at 1.2 or 1.4. I will not run around shooting everything wide open at 1.2 or 1.4 because I know a majority of them are going to be soft in focus. So just keep that in mind when you're understanding how I work. So let's go portrait mode. This is fun. Now here we go. I'm going to move that joystick. I'm going to put that focus point right on her eye. The one thing you should not do, let me take this portrait, beautiful. One more. And last one. The one thing you should not do is, bear with me here, focus, recompose. Focus, recompose. Because that is, one, it's just bad photography, okay? You're fighting physics. Lenses are curved. If you've watched me speak before, you know how I feel about this. Lenses are curved in their very nature. And when you start recomposing your shot to get them in frame, what's going to happen is you're moving them to the edge of the frame, and what was in focus is now not in focus, and it just goes sideways from there. That is why you have the ability to easily move your focus point through the camera, right, through the system. So do that. Take that single point focus, move it where you want it so you're getting sharp images. If we can come back to this. So this is what we were getting at 50. 50 is the right lens for this. I really like the way it looks. We've got good light fall off. So what I want to do now is go to a single light. So I want to switch if we can show. And I don't know if there's questions online, questions in here. But while we're doing this, I'm going to switch. So let's have you, and I'm going to talk through this online, or for everybody here, just go to the edge of that carpet, right here, where it's blue and the colors start. Yeah, we can do that. So what I'm going to do is set up 2 lights. Go ahead. Go ahead. So I'm going to set up 1 light. I'll help you guys in a second. I'm going to set up a little bit of hair edge light on her, and then I've got a main light on her as well. And so I don't want too much direction on it. Right, so what I want to bring the light, it's hard to see, I know the softbox is blocking her face. I don't want to bring the light too much directly in front of her, right? That's going to give it, it's going to be very flat. I do want some direction, right? She's got a very nice angular face, so I do want some direction on it. And then here behind her, right, we're using the Westcott light to create a hair light for some separation. And so what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to switch back to my 7200. And most of the time I'm shooting, it is with my 7200. So what we're doing here is just putting some stuff in the front, blur it out, give it a little bit more depth, see what that looks like. I'm out of frame. It's nice. Here we go. 1, 2. Let's let this pop up. So you're seeing how we've got just some flowers on a stick. Sounds like something we could sell. And what we're doing is we're introducing the flowers in the foreground just to kind of frame her up. We can change depth on it. So we can do this. Come back to me. So what we can do is put this here on the other edge of the frame. And I got to watch, make sure I'm not putting weird shadows on her. And let's do this. Yeah. I'm going to have you. There we go. What I'm doing is I'm just creating a nice window for me to shoot through. Giving myself some color in here, right? And these are not, who put these together? How much were these? Nothing. Like what, 10 bucks? Etsy? Okay. Michael's. All right. So we got like 10 bucks worth of flowers, and this is the kind of stuff you can do in a studio and just to start making things more interesting. And so from my window, I know you can't see online, but I'm shooting right through these, and I can start adjusting them. There you go. I can pull back, zoom in. Let's go here, 1, 2. We'll see that come up, and you're seeing what we're doing, right? We're just having a little bit of fun with it, showing that depth, showing that fall off, right, and really keeping things interesting. So I'm going to do one more thing. What I want to do now is I want to add some motion to this. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to go full body with you. Yeah, just step back for me. I just want to show a feature. What motion, here, let's do this. So what I want to do is get a little bit of motion in this. And we're going to use the 6K. We're going to grab a frame. And I don't know exactly how that's going to look. I don't think we're going to be able to show you. I'll try and show you back at camera. But the feature, I think, is amazing. So if you've got a bride with a veil, what's your motion? What are you thinking about? Ooh, I like that a lot. Okay. Baby step forward. Yeah, yeah? Okay. Good. Okay, so if you've got a, let's get out of 1/8. Stuck in 1/8. Oh, sorry. Did I do that? All right. So what we've got, locked it up. I'm going to blame someone else, though. So what we're going to do here is we're in the 6K. We're going to take a picture of her in motion. So think about this for a second. You've got a bride with a veil. You've got a senior throwing a dress. You've got a senior jumping into a pool. You want an action shot on a senior portrait. Maybe they're swinging at something, throwing something. How do you do that in the past? I know for me, I would try and take that one frame. I'd time it. I'd do it over and over and over again until I got the veil perfect, the dress perfect. I'd spend a lot of time on it, and even then, it wasn't always right. So in 6K mode here, we are going to shoot through the scene at 30 or 60 frames per second. And what's going to end up happening is then on the back of the camera, we can look for that perfect shot. And I'll probably come here and try and show you as best I can what it's going to look like. But what that's going to allow us to do is pick the perfect frame, right, and save that shot. And that's going to be an 18 megapixel shot. Whatever you're using it for, 18 megapixels is going to be more than enough. When this tech first hit the market, the images were, correct me if I'm wrong, like 6 megapixel, 8 megapixel. So you start having issues with how large you can go with them. At 18 megapixel, you've got plenty of room to go at a 1624 or larger, and it'd be a beautiful, beautiful shot. And so you're going to see right now what this is for. So I asked her to frame up the motion. Let's show you. Go for it. Right? So where's that perfect shot going to be? How many times do I need to make her do it before I get the perfect shot? So hopefully just once. Yeah. Yeah, why don't we do that? So I'll show them live how we're doing it. Okay, so let's go here. All right, hold on. Bring your arms up just so I can see the frame up. Nope, I'm going to go horizontal with it. Let me see the frame up again. Yep, that's about where I want you. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Hold on. Think I was late? My screen went black. Oh, I have to shoot untethered? Okay, sorry. Yeah. All right, guys, sorry. It wasn't, you can't shoot that tethered. So we'll do it again. Show me your arms up. I'm going to pull back here. Yep, that's where I need you. Beautiful. And I'm moving my focus point right to her eye. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. All right, so what's going to end up happening here is we will have these all show up. Let's see here. Let's get in here. I think it's going to be good enough. All right, so what you're seeing now is you are seeing, right, all the frames that are there. And what I can do now is I can start moving through this. Sorry. Right, you're seeing, I can now scan through this and pick the frame where the dress and hands are where I want them to be. Now, what happened is I see it, I cut her hands off, that's not good. So we're going to do that again, right? So that's my fault. That's why when I framed it up first. But you're seeing what's happening here, right? So I want to do it again. Let's get a good shot. Okay? So I'm going to stay untethered. Show me your hands up again so I don't cut them. Yeah, that's my fault. I was way off. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay? So now we'll come back. We'll let that go through. And now you can see I'm going through and I can find, right, that perfect frame. Obviously, at that point, I've gone too far. So let's say I want to grab that frame. Okay, now I can save that. It's going to ask me if I want to save that image. Yes. And it's going to save that image for me. And so using that feature Now, how will that make your portraits more dynamic and now give you that picture? And you could do it over and over again and get stuff like that that make your portraits more interesting, more exciting, and things of that nature. Questions for me? Anybody? Anybody? Good. You guys, feel like I didn't cover anything. Good feature for tossing the bouquet. Yes. Again, anything with motion, you want that perfect shot. Tom, that's a good point, because when we toss bouquets, we are counting down, trying to time the perfect shot, the perfect expression, things like that, right? So you're seeing where you could use a feature like that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys and you guys as well. When 6K feature first hit market a couple of years ago, right, at this point? Yeah. I was like, this is a gimmick. This is the stupidest thing in the world. And then I started seeing how other photographers were using it, and then my creativity just started exploding, right? I'm like, oh my God, the veil, the bouquet, the dress, all those things where, if you're trying to get a single perfect frame and there's motion, you're gonna have a really hard time doing. But the technology is, of course, improving, and now you're getting that 18 megapixel frame out of it. That's a usable frame that you can edit, you can push, you can do a lot of things on. So again, guys, my name is Sal Sincata. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer. This is what I do for a living, and this camera will blow you away. So as promised, I'm gonna get this video rendered out, and I will show you the photo shoot we did live in California, where you can see its use in the field and see the results from that as well. Thanks for watching.